Now we've got Shanti saying that she wants a regime change. She's in the streets hustling, doing her thing. We've also got her looking at the whole board plotting her next move. But we've also got her putting a baseball bat to what looks like Jernard's Lambo. And we do have to ask the question, what's changed with their relationship? Because just recently, towards the end of episode 2, we saw them having a candlelit dinner. They were looking like they were on the right track. Love seems to be in the air. So, what changed? Does she think that Jernard is back on the needle?
He hit that Fent. What's crazy is he was doing heroin. He never did Fent before. He get the kilo of Fent, so now the monkey crawling up his back, and he start getting the itchy, twitchy look with his face and his nose, and now you just want to hit the Fent now? You're not even going back to the heroin?
That was something that she was slightly worried about in episode 2. Is it because he's gone back on his word on killing Diamond? Because we all know he definitely does have his doubts. I constantly refer to his demeanor, his facial reactions, whenever Shanti mentions taking Diamond out. Has he changed his mind on how they deal with Diamond and the CBI? Is he making moves for himself and leaving Shanti out the plan? Now that it seems like he's on the right track to control the CBI with Diamond, could definitely be a few different reasons. But it
Duh.
also matches up to why Shanti will go over to Tommy and probably tell him that these brothers are going to be looking out for themselves. I really did wonder whether it was a play from Shanti with Jernard, but now that we've seen this particular scene, I do think Shanti and Jernard are going to have a huge falling out, where Shanti does flip-flop between the brothers and Tommy, but still maintaining her end goal and working for herself.
Uh-huh. And the only person that'd be able to catch that is going to be Tommy. And maybe Claudia would be able to peep that too.
Gary Lennon teased that she's someone who will always have a counter move, someone who will always do what's best for herself, and I do think time is approaching that moment where we do see Shanti putting things into motion. But let's move over to the scene between Tommy and Maria. Now we've got Tommy and Maria, and it looks like Christmas certainly hasn't been cancelled, but it does look like it's come early. Maria's holding a stomach, and in my opinion, she is definitely pregnant. I've been saying mainly for around 2 years now, ever since we saw the scene when they were strolling in the park. They had the conversation around kids and whether they saw themselves having kids in the future. We then saw the hallucination scene between Tommy and Holly Weaver. That was something that brought Tommy to his knees, where we saw him reach out and touch Holly's baby bump, which I do think was very symbolic. Not just because of OG power.
That was a sign that it was on the way, or maybe she pregnant and didn't know it, because the Holly scene and the potential scene where Maria is going to tell Tommy that she's pregnant, it couldn't be more than a month or two, but maybe even just a couple weeks. But if she's on the floor holding her stomach like that and they holding each other, she's definitely pregnant.
And Tommy killing Holly when she was pregnant, but also foreshadowing Tommy's future with Maria. So I do think Maria is pregnant, and I do think this is probably the moment where she gives Tommy the news. However, Holly did also warn Tommy in that hallucination scene as well.
You can't have both worlds, Tommy.
Now she warned him that he can't have both.
Yeah.
He can't be in the game and love at the same time because it.
But what's going to happen is, we know for sure Maria survives season 3 if she is pregnant, for the simple fact that we've already done the plot line where Tommy is supposedly with the girl he's not supposed to be with. That girl gets pregnant, and then that pregnant woman dies. They already did that plot line, so they're not gonna do it again with Maria. There's going to be other directions that they take this.
Just doesn't end well. Based on Tommy's history, it has never worked out. But having said that, has Tommy actually learned from his mistakes from OG Power? I do think that will add a very interesting.
He's sending Maria far away from him, where she can have that baby in peace, and none of his enemies gonna know where she at.
Dynamic that we've never seen before from Tommy's character arc.
And this brings Miguel all the way into the fold with Tommy as well.
Tommy knowing that Maria's pregnant, him protecting Maria and their baby, him potentially doing things very different compared to how he did it back in Power. I guess the difference between Holly and Maria being pregnant is that Tommy never actually knew about Holly's pregnancy until after her death. If he'd known that she was pregnant, things would have definitely turned out different. You saw how distraught he was by actually killing Holly in the first instance. He knew he made a mistake, but then what killed him even more was finding out that she was pregnant shortly after. But
destroyed him.
Now that Tommy seems like he may have a second chance if Maria is pregnant, and I do think it adds a very interesting dynamic to Tommy's character arc that we haven't ever seen before. How does Tommy behave? Does Tommy potentially see life differently now that he could have a child of his own? Will he see what Ghost saw in wanting out the game to protect his family? I personally believe that Tommy will be in the game no matter what, but if there was anything that would cast a seed of
He is sending Maria far away.
doubt on that,
It'll be the first time we see him consider possibly leaving the game as well. Possibly.
then it has to be this. I did also write a thread on this particular topic around 2 years ago, and the points definitely still stand as of today. So let's wait and see. I do think we're approaching the moment where Maria tells him, and then let's see whether it's something that does shift the thinking and the mindset of a character like Tommy. I still personally don't think it will, but again, if there is a moment that would, if there is something that would shift Tommy's mindset, it definitely would be this. But that's where I'm going to wrap things up for this new teaser.
Alright, so there you have it, man. That was Movie By. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Peace.
Can't teach that shit, nigga. Come on. That's God get that. That's touch my ink. That's on the dome, nigga.